In the cold northern villages where towering mountains loom over dark coasts, legends were told around the fireplace. The fiercest was the tale of the Kraken, the sea monster said to sleep in the depths of the ocean.
Welcome to the world of Storyscape.
In a small village on the coast of Norway, the people lived simple lives, relying on fishing and sea trade. But they knew the sea was not always a friend. On long winter nights, when storms rattled the rooftops, the old grandfather Olaf would gather the children around the fire. The young man Erik, the bravest in the village, had heard these stories since he was a child. He thought the Kraken was just a myth, a tale the elders used to scare children and keep them away from the sea. One calm morning, Erik gathered his small crew and set sail toward the deep waters no one dared to approach. The sky was clear, but something in the air felt ominous. Nevertheless, Erik pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. After hours of sailing, the sea turned dark as clouds filled the sky. Suddenly, a massive whirlpool appeared, pulling everything toward it. Enormous tentacles rose from the water, thick as oak trees, threatening the ship. In desperation, Erik remembered that the Kraken fears fire. The crew lit a barrel of oil on fire and threw it into the water. The flames spread rapidly, and the tentacles retreated, calming the sea once again. After escaping, Erik and his crew returned to the village, forever changed. The stories of the Kraken became more terrifying, and sailors hesitated before venturing out too far, always carrying oil barrels just in case. But the legend didn't end there. The Kraken, as they say, does not die. It merely sleeps, waiting for the right moment to awaken once more. On stormy nights, old sailors whisper warnings. The Kraken is watching us and will never forget. Years after that incident, Erik returned to the sea, but this time not in search of adventure. He was determined to face the Kraken once and for all. The village was suffering from a shortage of fish, and ships that ventured too far from the shore were disappearing without a trace. Erik felt that the monster was returning and that it was responsible for these disasters. This time, Erik prepared a larger ship and gathered a crew of seasoned sailors. They carried barrels of oil and weapons, knowing the battle would be fierce. Erik was determined to end the Kraken's threat forever. When they reached the deep waters, the signs were clear. Strange whirlpools and water moving unnaturally. Erik gave the orders, and everyone was on high alert. Suddenly the Kraken emerged again, but this time it seemed larger and more ferocious. Its massive tentacles rose from the water and began attacking the ship. The battle was intense. Erik and his crew fought bravely using fire and weapons to fend off the tentacles. But the Kraken was relentless. At a critical moment, one of the tentacles struck the ship, causing it to take on water. Erik realized they couldn't hold out much longer. In a moment of inspiration, Erik decided on a daring plan. He ordered his crew to steer the ship directly into the massive whirlpool the Kraken had created. "If we're going to die, let's die fighting," Erik shouted. The ship surged toward the whirlpool as if it were being swallowed. At the last moment, the crew threw all the burning oil barrels into the water. The explosion was massive, and the whirlpool vanished. The Kraken, which relied on the whirlpool to drag its victims under, began to retreat. Its tentacles slipped back into the depths, and the water calmed. Despite the damage to their ship, Erik and his crew managed to return to the village. From that day on, the Kraken was never seen again. Some say it died in the explosion, while others believe it returned to its slumber in the depths. But Erik became the hero of the village, and his story became part of the legends told around the fireplace. And on stormy nights, when the wind rattles the windows, you can hear the whispers of the children. Erik defeated the Kraken, but the sea still holds secrets we may never know.